Please do share this with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examinations. You can like and follow us on Facebook as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel to get live event and notifications for all the updates regarding CAT and other MBA entrance examination. You can also look at our WhatsApp as well as Telegram lists. You can join over there and we will update you. We don't spam over there. If you want, you can enroll for our Quant and LRDI courses. These are the best and the most comprehensive courses available in the market. In this session, we'll be continuing with our significant lines of a triangle. We'll be looking at perpendicular and angle bisectors. We'll also be solving a few questions from the CAT and XAT papers in the past. I would suggest pause this video, have a look at the questions. The link is available in the description of this video. Once you have tried these on your own, then proceed with the rest of this session. That completes this particular session. If you liked it, please do share it with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examination. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow our Facebook page. The links for our course are available on the description to this video. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best. So this is a continuation of the significant lines. I would suggest before you proceed with this, have a look at the previous two sessions on altitudes and medians because we'll be using those properties as a refresher. If you have not watched this earlier, the links to those sessions will be available in the description of this particular video. So a perpendicular bisector is basically a line which divides one of the sides into two equal halves and is also perpendicular to it, which means it subtends an angle of 90 degrees on the side. Now it need not pass through the opposing vertex, right? So a lot of people have this confusion between altitudes, perpendicular bisector and median, right? So a median basically divides the opposite side, passes through the vertex of the triangle, right? And altitude is perpendicular to the opposing side and passes through the vertex, right? A perpendicular bisector divides it into two equal parts, is perpendicular to the side, but need not pass through the vertex. So this is the difference between the three, right? Now, just like the altitude and the median, the meeting point of the three perpendicular bisectors is also concurrent. They meet at the same point, right? Now this point is called the circumcenter. Now the reason it's called the circumcenter of a triangle is because it's the only point which is inside the triangle which is equidistant from the three corners or the three vertices, right? So if I say this is x, right, the distance ax will be same as the distance bx, which will be same as the distance cx. Right? This distance is called the circumradius, usually denoted with capital R. Now the reason it's called the circumradius is because using this as a radius, you can draw a circle which will be a unique circle for this triangle and it will pass through all the three corners. This is the only circle which will pass through all the three corners of any given, of that particular triangle given this, right? There is only one such point which is available for every triangle, right? If you know the length of the three sides, right, you can find the area, and using the area and the length of the three sides, you can find the value of the circumradius as well. Now let's solve a question which came up in CAT 2008, considered to be a pretty difficult paper, right? It says in a triangle ABC, the length of the sides AB and AC equals 17.5 centimeters and 9 centimeter respectively. Let D be a point on the segment BC such that AD is perpendicular to BC. If AD is 3, then what is the radius of the circle circumscribing the triangle ABC, which means we need to find the circumradius, right? So let's draw this. So you have A, B and C. AB is 17.5, AC is 9, and it is given to you AD, which is perpendicular, is basically equal to 3. Right? We need to find the radius, circumradius. Now we don't know the shape of this triangle. It may not be an equilateral triangle. However, you know, this is the hypotenuse, this is one of the sides, we can find the other side. Similarly, this is the hypotenuse, this is one of the sides, we can find the other side. And then using that, we can probably figure out the length of this side, length of the circumradius. That may not be that easy to work with, right? So what do we need? We need the circumradius. Now, if I know this side, say, let's call this x, right? If you use the circumradius relationship is product of the three sides divided by 4 times area. Product of the three sides will be 9 into 17.5 into x. What will be the area? Now, one way is to use the Hero's formula, but as we have said earlier, Hero's formula need not be always used, right? It is useful when you know all the three sides, but to calculate just one side using a Hero's formula is a little painful. We have done this earlier with other triangle problems as well, right? The other value of the area that we know is half base into height. So half of 3 into x, right? That will be the area, into 4 will be equal to the circumradius. Now this solves it because this is independent of x. We don't need to know the value of x. Just resolve this, your job is done. 3, 2, so this will become 2. This will be 3. So 17.5 into 3 divided by 2. We can approximate this value. 17 into 3 is 51. So roughly around 52. 52 divided by 2 is very close to 26. Option B will be our correct choice. Now, the last significant line, which is slightly different from the other lines, is because it does not deal with the sides. It deals with the angle. It's called the angle bisector. As the name suggests, it divides each angle bisector divides the angle or on the vertex into two equal halves. Right, into two equal halves. Right, the meeting point of the angle bisectors is called the incenter. Right, now incenter is unique in the sense that it is the only point inside a triangle which is equidistant from the three sides. Right, so if you drop perpendicular to it, each of the sides, the shortest distance, that will be equal. Each of these lengths will be equal, and because each of these lengths is equal, you can draw a circle which will touch each of the three sides at only one point. In other words, the three sides will become tangents to this circle. The circle is called the incircle, right? The radius is called the int radius, and you can find the value of the int radius using this relationship. The proof is very nice, right? It uses half base into height relationship. Apply it, it's actually pretty easy to calculate. Usually denoted in text with small r. Right. Now, the angle bisector theorem again is pretty useful in certain cases. There was one question in previous IIFT paper which used this directly, but it has not appeared afterwards, but it's a pretty useful theorem. It says an angle bisector will divide the opposing side in the ratio of the sides that contain the angle. Right. So if AD is the bisector of angle A, then the length BD to DC or BD to CD will be AB is to AC, right? It's the same ratio as the side which makes up the angle. Okay, let's try a question which came up in CAT 2017 slot 2. Okay, it says P is an interior point of a right angled isosceles triangle. AB is with hypotenuse AB, right? It's a right angle isosceles triangle. Right, so symmetrical. So it's half of a square as we have seen it. Right, hypotenuse is AB, so which means C is the point which contains the right angle. If the perpendicular distance of P from each of AB, BC, and CA is 4 into root 2 minus 1, then area in square centimeter of the triangle is how much? So you basically have the incenter is given to you. P is the incenter. How do you know that this is the incenter? Because the distance of P from each of the sides AB, BC, and CA is equal. Right? That is the definition of the incenter. So what do we need to find here? We need to find the area of this triangle. Okay. Now, if we extend this line, right? This will be the diagonal of the square, which is again will be a isosceles right angle triangle, right? So if I take this length as x, this length will also be x, this length will also be x, right? Because this is the end radius. This diagonal, this is an isosceles right angle triangle, so this should be x root 2, right? Now this full length will be a straight line. Why? Because of the symmetry, it's an isosceles triangle, right? You can prove it also, but using symmetry we can very clearly say that this will be one straight line. Now what will be this straight line? This straight line will basically be the be the median to the hypotenuse, and it will also be perpendicular. Why? It's an isosceles right angle triangle. We have done this in the altitudes part, a similar question, right? So we now know the height. What is the height? Height is x plus x root 2, right? This is the height of the isosceles right angle triangle, right? Which means the base will be twice of this, right? Why? This is the median. Median to the hypotenuse is half of the hypotenuse. So we know the base also, right? It will be twice of this. So base into height will be the area. So let's resolve this. X plus x root 2. What is x? X is 4 into root 2 minus 1. So I can write it as x into root 2 plus 1. So that will be 4 into root 2 minus 1 into root 2 plus 1. That will be 4, right? 2 square, root 2 square minus 1 square. That will be 1. Rationalizing this. So we know the height equals 4, which means the base equals 8. What will be the area? Half of 4 into 8, which will be equal to 16. Pretty straightforward application of isosceles triangles and perpendiculars. Job done. Now, just as with the medians and the altitudes, we can look at these bisectors for these special triangles. Now, for an equilateral triangle, right, everything basically coincides at the same point, right? So 1/3 of your altitude will be your in radius, and 2/3 of your altitude will be your circumradius. Why? Because G is also the centroid. So we can find the value of the in radius, which will be half the value of the circumradius. What is the value of the in radius? Height, 1/3 of the height, which will be a divided by 2 root 3. So what will be the circumradius? Circumradius will be a divided by root 3. Pretty straightforward. Now, for an obtuse angle triangle, the circumcenter will lie outside the triangle, right? Just like the orthocenter lies outside, the circumcenter also lies outside, right? You can prove it using properties of circles as well. And for a right angle triangle, the circumcenter is the midpoint of the right angle triangle. How does it come across? If you drop the median to the hypotenuse, right? The median is equal to half the length of the hypotenuse. So this distance, and this distance are all equal. When these three are equal, which means this point is equidistant from the three corners. What is that point called? That point is called the circumcenter. So the midpoint of the hypotenuse is your circumcenter, and half the hypotenuse is basically your circumradius for a right angle triangle. Let's use this for a question which came up in XAT 2015. Okay, it says the difference in the area of the circumscribed circle and the area of the inscribed circle in an equilateral triangle is 2156 square centimeters. What is the area of the equilateral triangle? Right. Now, obviously, you need to know the value of the area of a circle. Area of a circle is pi r square, right? Where r is the radius of the given circle. Now, the circumscribed circle area will be pi into r square. The inscribed circle will be pi into small r square, right? Now, we know r is equal to twice of small r. R will be equal to twice of small r. So, if you rewrite this, this difference will be equal to pi into 3r square. 4r square minus r square will be 3r square. Now this value is given as 2156. Right. What is the value of r? R will be a divided by 2 root 3. which means r square will be equal to a divided by square of this. Square of this will be 4 into 3, 12. A square by 12. So we know pi into 3 into a square by 12 is 2156. What do we need? We need to find the area of the equilateral triangle. What is the area of an equilateral triangle? Root 3 by 4 a square. Right. So we know a square will be equal to 2156. This will be 4. Right. Into 4 divided by pi. So into root 3 by 4 will be equal to into root 3 by 4. 4 goes out. Pi will be 22 by 7 divided by 2. That will be 1078 divided by 11. If you divide this by 11, that will be, this is 98, right? So, and 7 will go up. So your final answer will be 98 into 7 into root 3. Now what will be the last digit? 8 into 7 will end in a 6. Option A will be your correct choice, right? So again, lines inside a triangle are not very difficult. Most importantly, try to fix them for special triangles like an equilateral triangle or an isosceles right angle triangle. These questions, the moment you can identify these type of triangles, these special triangles, your difficulty level of a question drops by at least 50%. That is a key point in geometry. Identify the special triangle, most likely an equilateral triangle or a right angle isosceles triangle. Hit it with as many relations that you can, that you know, your question will be solved. Within 2 minutes, usually the question are solvable in geometry. That completes this particular session. If you liked it, please do share it with your friends who are preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance examination. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow our Facebook page. The links for our course are available on the description to this video. Till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best.